So this is Religion 2, or let's talk a little bit more about religion. And the reality is that it gives a lot of people hope and things that they need to survive. It gives them an opportunity to believe that their life will be better. And there are benefits to religion, and every single type of religion offers that because that's how they continue to stay to survive. And of course, universities have come and destroyed a lot of that because the religions have offered themselves to them as, a university is God. After all, it's the universities that graduate nearly every form of leader that religion has today. So the university disease is constant, and it's apparent, and it's a plague upon all of religion. Even though, there are things that a common denominator of a university might offer, it's still a lack of individuality, and it is the individuality of our own individual, distinct decisions that make us unique, and it is our unique ability to decide for ourselves what we do or do not believe that makes the difference to our own lives and our own eternity. You are not judged based upon your religion in eternity. You are judged based upon your truth. And of course, the primary purpose of this life, or this living in time, is to determine who has love and who does not, and who can survive the cost of being alive in eternity and who cannot. There is, again, only three decisions to be made: love, hate, or animal. And animal is the herd, and the herd wants what it wants, and that's all there is, and there is nothing else. It just wants what it wants, just like all other animals. It wants as much as it can get. It wants the best that it can get. It wants, what it wants. And it knows what it doesn't want. And that's all there is to it. But of course, in religion, the doors are open so that everybody can claim an eternity that wants to, because truth doesn't matter. All that matters is if you can, support the religion and be part of the group, and, be part of the herd, and so on. But in reality, it is, or I will go, I am a Christian, basically, although not practicing by most standards. Or let's just leave it at Jesus was the clear example of love or hate. He was love, and those who killed him were hate, and the evidence of what is real and what is not real in that is very certain. And of course, his group, which was Jewish, killed him because he turned over their money. They didn't kill him because of what he said, basically. They killed him because if you read the biblical interpretation of how that went about, his last day on earth, he dumped over all the money that was in the temple, and they killed him for it because, they were worshippers of money, just like you are. I mean, the universities have led you to greed. They've led you to power decides, and led you to pride, led you to every form and every part of everything that is a death of life on earth. Making weapons of mass destruction, and doing everything that is horrid. So their religion, which is evolution, of course, has no bearing. And if you don't see life as a miracle, there's not a lot I can do for you, because you don't understand anything. You literally don't understand anything. Life is a miracle. Life is created by thought, and the foundation of that thought is clearly it didn't come from anyone or anything that is on this earth. So where it exactly came from, nobody knows. You can call that religion or not, but it is clear that the human body is a clear example of thought, and at a level that is beyond ourselves. And that's really all there is to it. So if the human body is a miracle, and a miracle it is, we can't build a body one piece at a time. If you have a heart that has no muscle to move it, or you have a heart that has no blood, or you have a heart that has no food, if you have no mouth, if you don't have a mouth, you can't eat, and if you don't have a pancreas, you can't dissolve it, and 10,000 different things just to start proves that it was not built one piece at a time, as evolution and the universities say. They're indoctrinating you into their program of occult worship. And of course their foundation purpose is to create the fantasy that they can play God. They cannot. They can only play destroyer or Satan. And that's, not given a religious term, but, it's just a term. But arrogance. We can play God. Apathy. We don't care about nothing but ourselves. And disrespect. To hell with it all. As is the constant of university leadership. As is, there is no future for any child unless we really, truly change. There is none. All the resources will be gone. The globe will be overheated. The water will be gone and poisoned to death, and the oceans will be dead. Every chain of life on Earth is being destroyed. Habitats are ruined. Overpopulation, the whole business. There is no life without true change. So you can disagree that universities are not Satan if you want to, but the end result is they are destroyers of life, or they lead us to that, and they lead us by counterfeiting all the money, claiming that it doesn't matter unless we owe them. Debts don't matter to unless we owe them. They're not going to, like the universities prove, you can't dissolve a debt by university. They don't allow that because they own the government of this United States anyway. And they own you because, as COVID proved, you're willing to believe anything that media presents to you. And of course, if you don't believe it right away, they just keep hammering at you 24 hours a day, 365 days a year until you give up. As with COVID. They didn't offer any proof. They just offered COVID. Give us your money. And of course Trump and everybody else, they ended up giving them the money. And that of course opened the door to power, the claim that God is man. And you don't have to worry about nothing because we have taken all the power for ourselves. Like Nazis did. So the end result is that religion has a value. It has a value. It is a useful thing. You should not disrespect it. It's not for you to disrespect. But it should be understood that religion is just a rule book that lets you take a moment, get yourself back together, and try again to be yourself. So that when you are yourself, you become your own truth. And as you define what is true about you, you become an individual life. You become heart and soul, and you are able to make decisions for love, and you are able to, on the other side of that, make decisions for hate because they are opposite of each other. They are not the same, and they never travel together. There's no such thing as the university claim or the media claim, which is run and owned by a university, that love and hate are, just practically together. They are not. Either it's love or it's hate. And all the animals, of course, they're allowed to have love and hate, and that is what their journey is. That is what they want. They want love because they want the value of love, and they want hate because they want revenge on people who mistreat them. And of course, the problem with that is that if you follow a rat into its hole, you're going to get dirty. You're going to have to go through its shits and what have you to get down into that hole. And if you do that, you're just not going to come out clean. So you have to let them be what they are, and unless it is life or death to you, you have to let the law decide. You have to let the law decide, and of course that's what our ability to survive on this planet is. We have to let the law decide. Truth must decide, and if the law is corrupted by those who have been hired to do it, and of course all the law is corrupted and all the courts are corrupted and everything is a tragedy basically, at least in this United States. We have to stop them from carrying on what they want to do, and we have to investigate and identify what is true, what is correct, what is justified, what is fair, and all the things that go with that, and make decisions that bring us back to what our Constitution, which is our government, has intended to be. You know, we cannot be what we are not. We have to be what we are. And if you are love, you know that democracy in particular individually identifies us as, the law will decide, not our employee. So if we're going to let the law decide, then we should actually choose the law for ourselves, because we don't need 10,000 billion different laws to govern us. There's just corruption and collusion and conspiracy and horror and terror and everything that you can imagine buried in the law that other people can then corrupt even more. As is, you can look at IRS and got 50,000 different pages of rules about that, and all those rules are how to get away from taxes. Just let the other people pay. But the end result, of course, is it doesn't have to be that way. We can create our own law. We can create our own decision. We can create our own government. And that's what, the United States basically started out to be. And of course, the United States started out to be genocide for the people who were there. And that's why there are, Second Amendment issues of you don't take all the guns away, because we have to fight for ourselves when being invaded, and we are invaded. We are invaded by endless amounts of anarchy that the university provides, and it is anarchy to mutilate life on Earth. It's anarchy. It is Satan himself mutilating the genetic nature of what builds our bodies. There's no such thing as chaos builds anything. Chaos, by its very term, look up the definition, is the destruction of everything down to its most simple form. It doesn't build anything, it tears it apart. And that's, of course, what they do in university. And that's why they had COVID released and pushed as a pandemic, so that they could collect all the money. They collected roughly $16 trillion. That's $160,000, I think it is, for each and every one of 100 million people, and more across the world, I'm sure. And with that, they bought automatic machines that are now available to actually corrupt as much, it's a factory line of genetic mutilation. And of course that means that we have in particular been responsible for the greatest destruction of life on Earth. You, and to the degree me that I cannot influence you to stop them. And it is, our fault, as it's our time on Earth. We are the protectors of life. We are the protectors of Earth. We are the protectors of what we have to be or do to make sure that there is a future for the world. And we don't do that. You are greedy, and everything that you buy to keep you happy is thrown in the trash so that the future cannot exist. There's endless amounts of destruction of habitat. There's a constant of humans being told they are God, and All that matters is whatever they want. And there are fantasies and delusions of all kinds. So religion has a value, but the religion of the university does not. They are the liars, the thieves, the cheats, the whores, the bastards, the fools, the failures, you name it, traitors, terrorists, Satan, whatever you want to call them. They comply with all of it. Because the end result is we can't take back what they destroy. We can't rebuild what they destroy. Life is a miracle, and we don't know how to fix it. If we fail, if we tear it apart, we can't put it back together. There's no going back. And of course,